Hey, folks, we're live once again. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, which I guess you know since you're on my channel or you're on one of my Facebook pages. And, while I have that in my mind, we simulcast at three different places at once: YouTube, my Mobile Geezer Facebook ID, or my George Hayes Facebook ID. So you can comment, you can go in the comments and type something and let me know you're there from any of the three. If you're new here, we do this once a week. We talk about the tech stories from the last week. And if you are new here, please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have friends that are into tech, phones, tech in general, earbuds, let them know about our channel and spread the word, please. Not sure who's going to come in tonight. Last week we had Ted. Week before we had Will. Oh, and while I'm thinking, well, I'll wait till a few more people come in. I have some future news about Mike, but I'll wait till a few more people come in. So, if you're new here, I put these on the stories on my webpage every Friday, so we'll have show notes that we can look at it, and you can go over the stories and articles as I go over them if you want to do that. So if I just share screen, if you go to, let me get my branding stuff out of the way first. So if you go to my webpage at mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, you click on today's date, you'll get just tonight's show notes. And while we're here, as I always do, I'll give you a preview of what we're going to talk about. Hasn't been a heavy-duty week in tech news, which even Jaime Rivera has been talking about on Pocket Now. He's been saying the tech news, hot tech news, has been non-existent, but I try to come up with stories that you probably are not going to see every place else anyway, unless it's a big story of the week, like it was last week with Samsung. So tonight we're going to talk about possible major Tesla suit regarding highly exaggerated EV range numbers, found on Tom's Guide. And then there's a Chinese phone company called Transsion. I gather they've been around a while. I've heard of Infinix. I haven't heard of the other two, but they are now the number 5 in the world. So we're going to talk about that. That was on Phone Arena. And then Carl Pei surprised us and came up with a sub-brand that nothing has, he's revealing that belongs to nothing, and it's called CMF. So we'll be talking about that. And then Twitter, X if you prefer, filed suit against anti-hate research nonprofit. So he's suing them, and I guess they're counter-suing him. So we're going to talk about that. And the OnePlus Open, which is their folding phone, which was supposed to be revealed, I gather, on the 26th of this month. Well, that's been pushed back, and we'll go to a story in Android Authority talking about why. And finally, we'll talk about the iPhone 15 launch date, which is, I guess, kind of been revealed. I guess it's still technically rumor, but we have a date, so we'll talk about that. So those are the stories we're going to talk about tonight. And let me get back to the comments here. Yeah, Brian says, Elon wants to censor someone. Maybe he does. Eleanor was first here this time. Brian's been lately, but Eleanor was here quite early. She was here at 7 o'clock, or 7:01, I guess I should say. And then Brian came in at 7:30. So, of course, they're usually the first two here. Very glad to have them here. Brian, with his usual generosity, he's already donated something to the channel, which I appreciate very much. Anything you donate, of course, will go towards tech. Speaking of tech, I came here straight from work today, so I have my Razer, my Moto Razer with me, and I have my Galaxy S23 Ultra, best phone I've ever had. A lot of people seem to think so too. So those are the only two phones I brought with me tonight. So since nobody else has come in, do you have anything to say? Just say so in the comments and I'll recognize you. If you're new here, just let me know where you're from. So we're going to go to the stories. And if somebody comes in, I'll let you know. I'm going to go share screen. And we'll go back to tonight's show notes. So we're going to start on Tom's guide with the Tesla suit. So Tesla faces class action lawsuit over greatly, that's the key word there, exaggerated EV range numbers. Tesla could pay an undetermined amount for alleged fraud and unfair competition. I gather it's very early in this. So we'll see where this goes. Let me go to read a view and get rid of some of these ads. And this is by Nick Pino, published just yesterday. And I gathered the lawsuit just came down yesterday also. And when I go to read a view, sometimes it takes a minute for it to show up in read a view. Let's see if it does. Until it does, I guess I can start reading. So following a shocking report from Reuters on Tesla's deliberate attempts to obfuscate the range of its electric vehicles, 3 California residents are suing the company in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. The lawsuit filed yesterday alleges Tesla breached vehicle warranties and engaged in fraud and unfair competition, all of which could lead to a payout for owners who bought a Tesla vehicle based on its claims. So this could end up getting big. Let's see. According to the lawsuit, quote, had Tesla honestly advertised its electric vehicle ranges, consumers either would not have purchased Tesla model vehicles or else would have paid substantially less for them. And that's the whole key. If the lawsuit receives class action status, so it hasn't as yet, it could cover owners of a Tesla Model 3, a Model S, a Model Y, or a Model X. In other words, everything that's out there that's been sold, while seeking unspecified damages for the alleged false advertising. My guess is if this becomes a class action, it's going to cost Tesla a whole lot of money. So we'll see. Okay. Why is Tesla in trouble? Here's what we know so far. The lawsuit filed on Thursday cites Reuters reporting into Tesla's wide-ranging systematic approach, now get this, to preventing customers from complaining about the range of its vehicles and its exaggerated range claims. And that's key, exaggerated. According to the outlet's reporting, drivers would see the range somewhere above 350 miles when the battery was fully charged, but would only travel about half that distance, that's bad, that's only 175 miles, before the car needed to be recharged. At the heart of the issue, the report claims, was a purposely skewed algorithm that would show rosy estimates of the range when the battery was above 50% charge and then drop to a more accurate level once the battery drained below 50%. So if they can prove that they purposely skewed that algorithm, then yeah, they're going to have a pretty good case. If the exaggerated claims weren't bad enough, Reuters claims that Tesla then did everything in its power to cover up the complaints about the range of its vehicles. If they can prove that, that's going to hurt. Going so far as to implement a covert branch of the company that would remove negative reviews that mention range being an issue and canceling maintenance appointments. Listen to that, canceling maintenance appointments for customers experiencing what they believe were battery issues with their cars. So if you had a battery issue, you can make an appointment, but we're not going to honor it. To add insult to injury, Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving technology and its claims about the safety of these systems are also facing litigation. So that litigation together is ongoing. Tesla has yet to make a public comment about Reuters reporting or the most recent litigation, but we'll update this story if or when that happens. So they could be in a lot of trouble. And I would think the allegations are pretty provable, fairly provable. So we'll see what happens. I just thought that was an interesting one to start with. So let's see if there's anything new in the comment. Let's get to this story. Anything new in the comments? Alan from Phone Tech at Work. What's up, Alan? Glad to have you here, brother. So we got Jersey City represented. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm from Jersey originally. And, you know, once you're a Jersey guy, you're always a Jersey guy. So Alan and I were raised in the same county in New Jersey. He's still there. I'm not. Brian is asking, how's the experience with the Nothing Phone 2? So far, the Nothing Phone 2 experience has been very, very good. You guys have seen, I've done a couple of videos on it, but I'm going to try to put up a little comparison between the Nothing Phone 2 and probably the Razr phone over the weekend, camera comparison. And here's Matt. Matt, glad you're here. So Matt is over in Nashville, I believe. And Alan says, Jersey, stand up. That's right. Of course, Alan, you reminded me of the old song, Stand Up, Baby, Let Me See You Where You're Coming From. Stuck James Brown right in my head. That's okay. Today I had Aretha Franklin stuck in my head for hours, so I'm old and it shows. Okay, that's all we have. Okay, and here's Ted. Ted, your timing was good. And his microphone. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome, everyone.
Okay. You turn up your Oh, I don't have my earphones on, do I? I was going to say turn up your microphone, but I never put my earbuds in, so that's on me, not on you.
So I'm trying to cook. You muted your mic. Your mic is mute, George. Ah!
That's because somehow I clicked the mute button. Sorry, guys. I thought something drastically wrong happened. I'm clicking too much on the mouse. That's my problem. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, Elma said she missed home. And I said that's where we're different. I don't miss Jersey. I miss a few of the people. Okay. Yeah, Lewis knows all about tech laws, right, Lewis? Anyway, yeah, that was just my fumble fingers. Ted, you can speak up. Ted, are you still there? You should be hearing me. So hopefully it's not me, but Ted. Has Ted walked away? Okay. Guess we'll find out in a minute. Okay, now I'm seeing Ted's microphone is off. Ted, your microphone is off now, just like mine was. Looks like you muted it as far as I can tell. But, all right, I'm going to try to keep on going. See if I can get the next story in. Ted, you let me know when you're there, if you can hear me. You should be able to hear me. And I'm going to share screen. Going back to the web page. And we're going to go on to the next story. Now, normally I would ask Ted to do the story. Ted, can you hear me at all yet? No, his microphone is still muted, as I can tell from here. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next story. And I had never heard of this company, Transsion, but I have heard of the Infinix phone, and I gather there's a Techno phone and an Intel, I guess it is, phone. But anyway, we're going to go to Phone and Reader and find out about it because this company has jumped up to number 5 in the world, which is pretty good, I'd say. So, over on Phone Arena, little-known smartphone manufacturer cracks the top 5 for the first time, which I'm always rooting for them. So, and that's by Alan Friedman. He does a lot of stories on Phone Arena. And let's go into Reader View and get rid of some of these ads, depending how quick Reader View kicks in. Okay, it kicked in that time. And Ted's mic is still muted, so I'll just go on. A new brand cracked the list of the top 5 global smartphone manufacturers by shipments, according to Canalys, which just released the numbers for the second quarter that ended in June. And Canalys always gives you good information as far as numbers. Transsion shipped 22.7 million units during the quarter, up 22% year over year, giving the firm a 9% market share, up from 6% last year. Good for you guys. The Chinese manufacturer is responsible for the Techno, Infinix, and itel brands and was able to take advantage of a recovery in African markets, good for them, and a recent expansion into other emerging markets. And the only reason I know the Infinix, I've seen some gadget guy and a couple of other people talk about it, but not the Techno. I don't know Techno and itel. So I guess we'll start hearing about them as they get bigger. The usual suspects held down the top 3 positions as Samsung delivered a leading 53 million units, while that was a 14% decline. Yeah, they've been crying for a while. From the 2022 second quarter, Samsung leading market share remained, so they were still number 1, remained flat at 21%, even though Apple saw its shipments at 43 million decline 13% on an annual basis. The iPhone managed to keep its share of the global market flat as well at 17, so they're still number 2. Xiaomi shipped 33.2 million handsets during the second quarter of 2023, good enough for 3rd place. The company shipped 16% fewer than the number it delivered, so they dropped a little bit during quarter 2 of 2022. That decline cost the company just 1 percentage point in global market share, which amounted to 13% in quarter 2, 2023. And right below Xiaomi was Oppo, one of the phone brands under the BBK Electronics umbrella. That's along with OnePlus, of course. Oppo saw its quarter 2 global market share stay flat at 10%, so they stayed at number 4. Despite an 8% annual decline in deliveries to 25.2 million units. And there you can see the chart. If anybody goes to the stories, you can go look that up yourself, or you can probably go to Canalys website and look it up there too. So overall, global smartphone shipments were 258.2 million during the second quarter of 2023, down 10%. So they've been saying everybody's going down, and I guess they all are. From the 287.4 million, so there's the difference, 58.2, 87.4 last year, delivered during the same quarter last year. That was an improvement from the 13% decline recorded the first quarter of this year, so it's better than it was first quarter. Amber Liu, an analyst at Canalys, said the decline in the global smartphone market has once again narrowed, so it's getting better, helped by an industry-wide inventory reduction and signs of demand recovery in certain regional markets. So some markets are pulling things up. Liu added, Samsung has adopted a conservative strategy amid profitability pressure and slow recovery in the semiconductor industry. With the second quarter being a low season with fewer new launches, Samsung has seen its lowest Q2 performance since 2013. That's pretty bad, but I guess it's getting a little better. With the high-profile release of its latest Galaxy Z Flip and Fold models, it has clearly demonstrated its ambition to compete with Apple in the luxury market. That's true. This strategic move is crucial for its anticipated recovery over the next 9 to 12 months. So I just thought it was cool that a new brand cracked the top 5. So let's get a review. Over here. Stop screen. Ted, are you back? No, his microphone is still. I don't know where Ted went. It's showing that he's still online. But I guess when he gets back, he'll get back. So we will move on meanwhile. If he doesn't come back, it's going to be a quick show, but you already know that. So back to sharing screen. And let's see. This was interesting. I gather Carl Pei surprised everybody with this. Nothing creates economy sub-brand, and that's the key in the economy sub-brand, CMF. This was on Android Central. So Nothing teases a smartwatch and earbuds from sub-brand CMS by Nicholas Diaz, published yesterday. Carl Pei wants good quality devices to be more accessible. In other words, a little cheaper, I would think. So let's go to read a view. Okay. CEO of Nothing, Carl Pei, has announced a new sub-brand within the umbrella of Nothing that will focus on delivering products like wearables with better design, more accessible. The announcement was made during Nothing's Q2 2023 update video, where Pei came on to discuss a bit about the brand known as CMF by Nothing. This new brand will launch as smartwatch and earbuds later this year. So they're going to be launching new products, but I gather more affordable. For context, Pei explained that in the value section, read budget, of the industry, there isn't a lot to get excited about. CMF by Nothing will have more of a focus on the design aspect of its devices with a price that will make it easier for consumers to get their hands on them without concern. The last point of focus for CMF by Nothing is its trusted quality, as the new brand is coming together courtesy of a small team dedicated to its survival from within Nothing. So just a team for that. There's a video here which I won't play. It's very long and has a lot more to say than just this story. Pei reiterates that Nothing will remain as it is, meaning it will not waver from premium products with the best specs and tech within them for consumers. Additionally, the company's CEO falls back on its community feedback for why CMF by Nothing is even a reality. According to Pei, many consumers have voiced their concerns over the pricing of Nothing's products. They have also extended their desire to see better quality products available for more than just those that could afford top dollar items. That makes sense. Aside from the teaser, Corpay didn't have anything else to say on what CMF by Nothing's first smartwatch could look like. Both the low-cost brand and the premium items Nothing creates are focused on design. However, the former is more interested in clean design rather than pushing boundaries. That's true. Furthermore, another set of earbuds is quite interesting. Yeah, they really have 3 out, I think. The first generation, second generation, and the cheaper one. Nothing recently launched the smoky black version of its Ear 2. That's the second one, 4 months after the original. These buds had a starting price of $149, lower than Google's Pixel Buds Pro, and continue to offer the same sound strength and clarity as the white colorway, but just in black. It's unclear if CMS by Nothing will continue the easily recognizable transparent design. Yeah, that's interesting to see. Nothing has become known for. We'll have to wait and see just how late in the year CMF by Nothing plans to roll out its first set of devices and just how low cost they'll be. So there's the Nothing Ear 2, which is the latest. And there's a cheaper one's called the, I can't remember the name. There's Ted, I believe. Ted, are you there now?
Yeah.
Okay, you disappeared for a while. Okay, getting out of review.
Sorry,
getting
guys.
out of this. All right, back to Ted. Are you going to let us see your face this evening, or are we just going to get voice?
Yeah, sorry, this is a ears only show.
Yeah, Munchie said Ted went to the store to get some beverages. I said, Munchie's asking me, you have the phone too. What do you think of the design? Do you really want to keep your phone upside down to use the glyph interface? I like the design a lot. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. If any of you remember from last year, I was kind of talking down and I was thinking Corpay was overhyping, but when Jay Will finally got his, and we're talking first generation, I put it in the comments when he did his reveal. I said, if I get interested in this, this is your fault. And it is. And when the Nothing Phone 2 came out, I just kept getting more and more fascinated. I think it's worth the $599. Yes, I don't mind having it turned flat so I can see the glyph interface, and I'm liking it quite a bit. Hearing an awful lot of disagreements on cameras. Some people think they're terrible. Some people think they're better than they expected. So general agreement is that in low light, not so great, but I guess that's what you'd expect from a $600 camera. So anyway, so far I'm liking it very much, and no, I don't mind turning it face down so I can see the glyph. And I still have a lot to learn, of course. So, Ted.
Yeah.
I've already gone through this first 2 stories. So you want to take the third story?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to the Twitter story. All right. So this one is on BBC. X Twitter files suit against anti-hate research nonprofit. And this was on BBC News. And this company, I believe, is based in London, so that made sense. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. So X4 sues anti-hate campaigners over Twitter research. The firm that, this is where they explain it.
The X Quarter is the parent company now.
Yeah, like an alphabet.
And and it has been the parent company for a while, not just the last week or so.
Oh, okay. The firm that owns Twitter, now called X, is using an anti-hate organization.
Suing, not using.
is suing an
Yes.
organization whose research criticized the platform. Xcore has accused the Center for Countering Digital Hate, CCDH, which has offices in the US and the UK, of unlawful acts to improperly gain access to its data. In response, CCDH accused Xcore owner Elon Musk of trying to silence anyone who criticized him. Mr. Musk has previously said that he is a free speech absolutist. CCDH is a not-for-profit organization that researches and campaigns against online hate. Its reports have been widely cited in the press, including by the BBC. Conservative MP Damian Collins serves on its UK book board. I think it's extraordinary that Elon Musk has done this. It's almost like a form of lawfare where a well-resourced organization is threatening a very small one, the former minister told The Times. In the U.S., 3 members of Congress, Lori Trahan, Adam Schiff, and Sean Casten, wrote a letter to Mr. Musk in which they argue that by filing suit against CCDH, he was stifling unbiased research in the public interest. The chief executive of CCDH, Imran Ahmed, said in a statement that Elon Musk's latest legal threat is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. He is now showing that he will step at nothing to silence anyone who criticizes him. CCDH research has shown that the hate and disinformation was spreading like wildfire on the platform under Musk's ownership, Mr. Ahmed claimed. He accused the Xcore boss of attempting to shoot the messenger. News of the legal case filed on Monday would emerge shortly after a fiery exchange of legal letters. The first threatening legal action from Xcore lawyer Alex Spiro was followed by a fortnight response from the CCDH's U.S. lawyer Roberta Kaplan. Responding to the legal letter from Xcore, Ian Russell, father of Molly Russell, who serves as a CCDH UK board member, asserted Elon Musk's legal action amounted to an unprecedented attack on civil society. At a time when Twitter seems to be backsliding on the tackling harmful content, it is astonishing that Musk has resorted to aggressive tactics to stifle free speech and dampen much-needed scrutiny, he said. In November, Mr. Musk claimed that the hate speech on the platform had fallen by a third since he took over. Let me see. Oh, okay, hold on. Stay off. New allegations. While Mr. Spears' letter focused on alleged inaccuracies in a piece of CCDH research, which the organization denied, a case from filed in Monday U.S. District Court of Northern District of California by a different law firm made a number of new allegations. It seeks damages. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna take a water break.
You still there? No. he's
Water
not.
break.
Oh, okay.
For example, a report heavily criticizing the legal letter from Mr. Spiro suggests that the platform fails to act on 99% of hateful messages from the accounts with Twitter Blue subscriptions. The complaint criticizes CCDA's research and its methodology. It alleges that the organization intentionally and unlawfully scrapes data from the X in violation of its terms of service in order to produce its research. It also claims that the CCDH gained unauthorized access to X's data through a software tool called BrandWatch, which helps monitor conversations about brands on social media. The legal research alleges that an unarmed third party improperly shared its BrandWatch login details with the CCDH, allowing them to gain unauthorized data access to data. The BBC has approached BrandWatch for comment. It also alleged that the CCDH goal was to censor contrary viewpoints which with it disagree on topics such as COVID-19, vaccines, reproductive health care, and climate change. As a result of CCDH reports, a number of companies who advertise on an ongoing basis immediately paused spending for advertising on X. The case
Now, normally I wouldn't say this, but because of a couple of things I know about the BBC, or a number of things actually, and some things in the story, I think Elon's going to win this one. I think he's going to win it fairly easily because he says that Brandwatch, who did have a login to get in there, and they could go and get access to the data. But according to him, CCDH used theirs to go get the data. I think that's very provable, and Brandwatch did not respond when BBC approached them for comment, which means to me they don't want to respond because they probably did give CCDH access. So I think he's going to win it on that alone. The other thing is Twitter is saying it's because of COVID-19, reproductive health, and climate change. Well, the BBC doesn't like anybody disagreeing about COVID-19. I know that for a fact. They will insist that men can have babies, and they're very big on climate change. So I think he's going to win this hands down. Just my opinion. You still there?
Actually, no, I got it, Jet George. Sorry, you guys have a good weekend.
All right, you got to go. All right.
Good night.
All right. Glad you were here. Good night, sir. Okay, he's gone. Anyway, so I wanted to get that story in, and I think Elon's going to win this easily. So let's go on to, anyway, very glad Ted was here for a couple of stories. So let's go on to our next story, which is OnePlus. Now, the OnePlus folding phone, which would have been, which is supposed to be called the OnePlus Open. OnePlus Open launch date postponed by display switch from BOE to Samsung. I guess that's the real reason. We had this story last week about it being delayed, but we didn't know why. Now we know why. This was on Android Authority. The OnePlus Open launch date may have been pushed back for good reason. OnePlus may have delayed the launch of its first foldable due to screen-related reasons. It's by Hadley Simmons, and this is 3 days ago. So let's go into read review, get rid of some of the ads. Some read review kicks in. Okay. OnePlus confirmed back at NWC 2023 that it was, so back in February, working on a foldable phone, and we've seen leaks and apparent renders since then. Two sources recently claimed that the so-called OnePlus Open will launch August 26, but it sounds like this date just got postponed. Frequent tipster Max Jambor has claimed on Twitter that the OnePlus launch date has been pushed back a bit. His tweet, Open launch got pushed back a bit, but no worries, the delay is actually good in a way. Open was supposed to have a BOE screen, but it turns out that was, I guess, next. New panels are from Samsung. Stay tuned for an exciting device. More to follow soon. Jambor asserts that the foldable has been delayed to a switch from BOE screens to Samsung displays. I would think BOE is getting big, but I would think I'd rather have Samsung if I could. The leaker suggested that display quality concerns were the main reason for the switch. Presumably, this switch was decided a few weeks ago, at the very least, rather than the past few days, as this is a major change that could take a while. Nevertheless, there's no word on a new launch date for the OnePlus Open, but a week's delay would mean the launch coincides with IFA 2023. That's right, because IFA starts September 1st, which is going to be the following week. The new foldable is tipped to arrive with a Snapdragon. Yeah, some of the specs here look pretty good. And I actually want to compare it to the Pixel Fold. The new foldable is tipped to arrive with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset a 7.8-inch folding display, and I have the specs for the Pixel Fold up, and their display is a 7.6. So this one's a tiny bit larger. It's got a 6.3-inch smartphone screen, and Pixels is 5.8 inches. So again, this one's a little bit bigger. 4,800 milliamp battery, and Pixels is just, I think it's 4806. So that's, it was 67 wire charging. It's also said to have a triple rear camera system, same with both, consisting of 48 megapixel main, ultra wide, and a 64 megapixel periscope lens. And the Pixels is, let's see, 48 megapixel main, 10 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel zoom, I think. So just wanted to see some of the differences. So those looking for an alternative to the Pixel Fold and Galaxy Z Fold 5 should keep this in mind. So if it were me and I hadn't bought either one of the other two yet, I'd wait. But of course, at this point, we don't know how long we're waiting for. So maybe you won't want to, but just wanted to get that story out there. Let people know it's going to be a little late and nobody knows how late. So, oh, and that's here. Hey, Annette. Well, you missed Ted. He was with us for, I think, 2 stories, but he had some kind of, I guess, kind of emergency in his apartment, and he had to go. But glad you're here, Annette. So I haven't got too much more. Yeah, I've got one more story, really. And this was about the iPhone 15. iPhone, we had no dates. All we had of stories for the last 2 weeks of how things are going to be late with the 15. Well, now we think we have a date. This was on 9 to 5 Mac. And this was from yesterday. Apple prepping for iPhone 15 Pro event potentially scheduled for September 13th, which is a Wednesday. Felipe Esposito. So let's go into review. It's been almost a year since Apple announced the iPhone 14 lineup, and now we've been hearing a lot of rumors about iPhone 15. But one thing that's unclear at this point is when Apple will announce the new phones. According to information seen by 9 to 5 Mac, Apple plans to announce the new iPhones in the 3rd week of September, and that's technically the 3rd week. Multiple sources familiar with the matter told 9 to 5 Mac that mobile carriers have been asking employees not to take days off on September 13th due to a major smartphone announcement. While this doesn't necessarily mean the launch is Apple-related, the company is known for holding its iPhone event in September. While most iPhone announcements have happened on a Tuesday, last year's event was held on September 7th, a Wednesday, and this September 13th is also a Wednesday. That might be the date Apple chooses to hold its special event next month. If Apple does indeed announce the new iPhones on September 13th, we expect pre-orders to begin on Friday the 15th, while the official launch a week later, on September 22nd. For comparison, iPhone 14 pre-orders began on September 9th, with the official release in stores on September 16th. Of course, there might be some exceptions, like there was last year. Last year, iPhone 14 Plus sales began on October 7th due to supply issue. Yeah, I waited for mine. A similar delay also happened in 2020, affecting the launch of the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Yeah, I had the regular 12, so I didn't have to wait that year. And the iPhone 12 mini. Some analysts have predicted that at least one of the iPhone 15 models could be delayed this year. Yeah, a lot of people think it's going to be the Pro Max, while others believe that sales of all new models will start in September despite severe shortages. So nobody's sure, but there's been a lot of rumors about it. According to rumors, iPhone 15 will get a new design with slightly curved edges and thinner bezels around the display. All full models will feature dynamic island, unlike the split that's now, and USB-C instead of Lightning. For the Pro models, Apple is expected to replace the stainless steel frame with a new one made of titanium. So that right there is going to jack up the price, I would think. While iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will be powered by the A16 Bionic chip found in iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max will rely on the A17 chip. So we're talking 15 Pro and Pro Max. Exclusively on the larger Pro model, Apple will add a new periscope lens for better optical zoom. So between that and the titanium, I would think it's going to go up. Based on some reports, the prices of the new iPhones may rise by $200 compared to the current generation. So if I had to guess right now, I would guess the 15 Pro is going to be $100 up and the Pro Max is going to be $200 up, which will probably keep me from getting it this year. But I skipped the 13 when I had the 12. So I'll have to see. So at least we think we have a date. So I just wanted to get that out there to you guys. Got new comments over here. Let's see. Matt is asking, did anyone see this contest live on YouTube? It's the Razer versus Flip 5. I've seen 3 or 4 people doing comparisons between the two, but I had the chance to watch one, and I don't even remember what I think the results were kind of split with the one I watched, and that was a guy in England. So anybody else seen any comparisons between the Razer and the Flip 5? So, me, I am loving my Razer. I said that I got the Razer because I knew I wouldn't be getting, should take the case off because this thing is so beautiful. I would say it's probably the best looking phone I've ever had, even though the S23 Ultra is the best phone I ever had. This one is certainly the prettiest phone I've ever had. So anyway, so the one comparison I saw, it looked like it was kind of a dead heat between the two based on different things. Photography, from what I remember in this guy's comparison, was close to the same. So, but there's a bunch of them out there, so you can certainly go check. But I am loving my Razer so far, and no reason to trade it. So that's all I've got for today, folks. I knew it was going to be short, which we didn't have Ted, but I was glad he was here a little bit, and hopefully we'll get Will back semi-soon. Oh, before we go, I want to let everybody know Friday the 1st, Labor Day. Let me look at the calendar. Yeah, so that's exactly 1 month from today. 4 weeks from today, Mike is going to host the show. He specifically put aside the time, told his whole family, don't bother me that night. I'm going to host Friday Night Tech Talk. So I just wanted everybody to know Mike will be hosting on September 1st, Labor Day, for Friday Night Tech Talk, and it'll be on Simply Your Device. So I know that'll excite some of you guys. So just wanted you to be aware of that. So that's it for tonight, guys. Like I said at the beginning, like Jaime Rivera has been saying, nothing earth-shattering here, but we did find some interesting stories, and hopefully you guys heard a few things that you hadn't heard before. Thanks to everyone for coming by. Thanks to Ted for coming by. And as I said in the beginning, if you're new here, please have any friends or family that's interested in tech, share it out and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next week. And as I always say, let's always remember, we all do better when we love each other. So I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend.